Good evening, everybody. I wasn't here last week. I'm sure it would have pleased some people and not pleased other people, but circumstances beyond my control. I'd like to start off by offering my deepest condolences to Dominic McCullough and his family circle on the recent death of his mother. So I want to say that may she rest in peace. Our Damien, so like I say, Damien is a stalwart presenter on Destination Uri and a true gentleman, and him and his family are in my thoughts and prayers. I want to give a few updates from our area. First of all, the children in the under 12 and the 12 plus group took part in a Formula Go karting event recently, and this is a very brief video. It's brief is an understatement, but it gives people some idea of exactly what was involved in that, and all the children had obviously a fantastic time. There was also a 2 hour respect project down in the main playing field in Drumalane Park. I think there's a video there, but unfortunately, it's my understanding there's no sound. But just to explain it, it was a fantastic day out for children from our community, and I think a few from elsewhere. And the whole rationale behind it was to get children out to get active and fit with where it was archery, where it was football, and there was times there was music on, and the weather was just brilliant. I came down later on after the event was over and had the privilege of presenting children with prizes that they won, and it shows our main playing field in a good light, and it's an absolute credit to the respect program because they do things like that on a regular basis, and I think communities need that because particularly during the present crisis, it's an ideal opportunity for young people to get together. And as you can see, it was a very safe environment, and all relevant procedures and protocols were in place. So it was happy days for everybody, and well done to all concerned. I think Joey's about there somewhere, but he's hiding. So thanks for that. There's just nothing. There's two trips planned, or in the process of being planned over the coming weeks. One's for the 30 plus age group because they've been asking us. I mean, and obviously we don't want to leave age groups out for something for them. So that's in the planning stages as I speak. The other one's for the 50 plus age group. Now, obviously there'll be limited numbers, and as my understanding, it'll be 25, the maximum amount of people allowed on each bus. Now, full clarification will be given on these trips as soon as destination, venue, and the dates are officially confirmed. We have talked before about getting a new pool table and all things for our centre when it opens, and we're delighted that we're in the position now to buy a new pool table, a PS4, Nintendo Switch, and other items like football nets, skipping ropes, and things like that there. But we've decided when we do get them, we're not putting them into near when the community centre is allowed to open. All these things will obviously give the young people in our area something to do over the coming autumn and winter months and keep their mind occupied in a very positive way. And that was the reason why we suggested these things, was it's obviously pools popular with children and adults, and I can see just as many adults coming down to play the pool, and we're delighted with that. I've been asked on numerous occasions, I'm sure, other community groups who have community centres that are owned by the council and managed by the community association, when is the centre opening? My latest information is I got an email from the council recently is that the earliest could be the end of September, and the reasons being is that we're still in a, how can you say it is, a very touchy situation with the virus. But before that it does open, council officials will visit our centre, go through it and explain what needs to be done. Obviously the proper guidelines and signs and things like that there, and about social distance are all in place. There will be obviously a maximum amount, and it could be 30 at any one time in the centre onto further notice. And it's important to point out this will be a phased reopening. It's not going to open up and everything's back to normal. I'm sure people will understand that's not going to happen. It'll be done on a gradual process, and please God, by the time of the end of the year, things will get much better than they are at this very moment. So that's just me informing people, and I've spoken to people myself, because they keep asking me, say it's going to be the earliest will be the end of September. Wait at this length of time, and a month or two wouldn't make any difference. The myself and fellow committee member Gerry McCune have recently signed up for the Sleeve Donard track on behalf of PIP's help and support, and we're delighted that we are doing this, because it's going to help raise money for an absolutely brilliant organisation who do highly commendable work with individuals, families, and within communities. When we do this, we'll be there representing our community association, but in a collective manner, but we'll also have individual sponsoring cards. That's my hint to turn around and say that give more money to my sponsor card than Gary's. I'm joking, Gerry. Just treat us all fairly. It's just this. I think the minimum amount of money that you can raise is £100, but we want to pass that amount of money, because it's money going to a very deserving cause. The other thing that's been asked about, not just here, but in various parts of Newry County, the housing advice work that I've been doing for 25 plus years, within that set up a housing advice centre in the community centre. I've been thinking about that a lot, and I've decided that when the centre is allowed to reopen, I will put forward a proposal to the committee that for one morning a week I'll be able to do that, because I get a high volume of people ask me. I focus mostly on helping people, homeless people, and people in need of what I call proper and affordable housing. People who knows me knows that's a passion with me. It'll be done in a more professional manner, and just as important means I can just focus on just a few hours every, say for example, Wednesday morning. That's then I don't have to bath for several days after. It'll be done in a very, very professional way. I'm very hopeful that the committee will agree to that proposal. Very special belated happy birthday to my good friend, neighbour for many, many years, Mrs. Annie McConville from Drumalane Park. Annie celebrated our 90th birthday yesterday, and I think I have a photograph there, Damien, of Mrs. McConville and family members. It's a collage of photographs, and there she is with her late husband, Bobby, a true gentleman, as Annie was a true, and still continues to be a true lady. Saying this, Annie moved into Drumalane, I believe, in the early 50s. I don't know, it was 1952, the same time as my mother and father moved in, and we were next door neighbours. And I couldn't extol enough praise on her and the late and sadly Miss Bobby McConville, because she just has been since then and is now a wonderful lady, even at the young age of 90. And if you seen her, you wouldn't think she was 90. I think she was just in her late 60s, and I'm sure if she sees this here, she'll like that. But it is the truth. I left Drumalane and I came back in 1984, and one of the first people I spoke to was Annie, because then I joined the community association at that time. And I can assure you now, she and Bobby helped me at the early stage, because believe it or not, it took me at my first meeting a year or more to even talk at a meeting. Now people knows me at meetings. It's getting me to stop talking, is the problem. So I've come on a long way over those many years. Bobby and Annie, to me, were legends within our community, just like so many other of that generation, and particularly in respect to their commitment to improving the quality of life throughout our area when they're doing the community work. They're war and continues to be such very well known people, and Annie continues to be that. And she got involved in the local church. She got involved in our projects, not just here, but elsewhere. And to me, she deserves nothing but the highest praise. And I'm delighted that I have the privilege of knowing her, not just as a good neighbour, but also a very good friend. And I just wanted to reflect back on 1984 when I moved back here. It was Annie and the late Mrs. Brady Stewart, who helped me to get this house that I'm presently living in, facing Annie's now, because they rang the allocating office and we wanted to get Gerry Coyle over here. Why? They don't want it. Maybe they're, Annie, I don't think you're regretting it. I don't think so, or the community, but I want to thank her for that. And she sort of in many ways paved the way for the work that I continue to do on behalf of our committee and our community and in general. Can I now move on to something that is close to my heart? And I know it might be a bit Drumalane, but it is. It's this book that I have. It's called Newry, Water, Ships and Town. And most people won't know what it's about, but Carl will put up a few photographs of it. It's an absolutely brilliant book. That was published to complement the Dockers Monument Stoke statue at the Basin. That all came about as a result of our committee and Newry Maritime Association working in partnership. It's an absolutely brilliant partnership, along with DFC's Neighbourhood Renewal Programme, who give us the funding for the book and the monument. You can see some examples of the ships and quays, and this book, I can assure you now, is absolutely fantastic. And I've seen this from probably a biased viewpoint, but I'm a third generation Docker, and I was absolutely delighted to be there at the unveiling of the monument and also the unveiling of the book. This was the editor of this was well-known historian Anthony Russell, and it was contributions from the seafaring community, Dockers, the maritime historians like James McAreevy and Sean Patterson, and many more with a deep knowledge of our proud maritime history. I have no doubts, and I mean that no doubts in my mind, that that book is one of the best, if not the best, that portrays the true history of the maritime history within the Drumalane area and further afield. And I'm delighted that I can say now that I have one or two that I'm willing to give to anybody who so desires to have one, because you don't have to have a love for the maritime history. This book explains things that no other book, and more importantly, not only does it come from the author's perspective, it comes from people who worked in the docks, their family members, who dockers' families, seafaring members, families, and things like that there. And it covers all aspects of what I call our proud maritime history. And congratulations to all involved with the Maritime Association, Anthony Russell, numerous people, members of our committee. There was one member of the committee, sadly no longer with us, the late great Tommy McKeown, a good friend of mine, in fact a great friend of mine, in many ways my soulmate, and I was delighted that there's a piece in the book paying tribute to Tommy, because he sadly died before this book was finished, and that's why that makes this book all the more special to me. Because just so up there's a photograph of the MV Dundalk, and in the background there's the steam packet shed. Some people may know what the steam packet shed is, but the Dundalk was a boat that I used to visit as a child. My father used to take me on board every Sunday, and I got my dinner, and the rest of my family used to say, you got a better dinner on the Dundalk than we got at home, which probably was the case. And I got a strong connection, even at that early age, with the ships, the canal and the docks. And I just loved it in Dundalk. It was a kettle and boat, and I think I carried pigs. And behind that shed, there was a pen for cattle. And across the road from that, there was a pen for pigs. And every time we come home from the Frontier Cinema, we jump into when there was no pigs there, obviously, play certain games too. We used to think we were John Wayne and people like that there. But the steam packet shed, when I look at that, it reminds me of the time when I was a child. I refer to this many times. I tell my children and grandchildren about where things were then. It was 10 or 12. I used to go along with all members of my family, but obviously taking different turns, to go down. I was asked to go and get a bag of Coke. Now, Coke is a Coke, there's the fuel Coke, just to clarify that issue in case people are thinking something different. Now, we had to walk from Drumalane Park right down to the Warren Point Road to the gas works. On that journey, I would stop off at the steam packet shed, which you see in the background, get an end of the long wheelbarrow, take it down to the gas works on the Point Road, load up the bag of Coke, take the Coke the whole way home from the Point Road, right back to my home in Drumalane, unload it, take the wheelbarrow back down to the steam packet shed, then the return journey back home. So I can assure you now, it wasn't easy, but we were delighted to do it, because no matter what age you were at that time, you always done, not what your parents told you, but what your parents asked you to do, because you had that much respect, and something which I still have to this very day. So there's a photograph, I think there, Cal, of the container boat, the MV World Coast, somewhere there in the background. I want to take this opportunity because it's in this book, the story about, it's called My Life on the Containers. Now that was, I think, 1970 or something like that there. But I've had a lot of fond memories of walking on the World Coast. In fact, I can safely say I loved it. It was in the New Docks, and the fact that it was so close to home, it was berthed alongside what was called then the link line, where the containers and things called flats were stored. The crew were mostly from Holland. We got on very well with them. There was characters like Paddy Can and his son Mickey Can, and Pa Can, the great singer, was a docker for a while too, as well as some Jimmy Bournes and Crack Bournes and Toby McStay and John McStay, Mayfa, Dan Smith, who had massive hands, they were like a shovel. Sadly, a lot of them people who I worked with have since passed away, but I have very fond memories of that, and that's why I'm so delighted as a third generation docker that the story has been told. And again, thanks to the likes of Newry Maritime Association and lads, that they'll make sure that it is always remembered and it will never die, because it is a very important part of our history in Newry and further afield. I think that's me at this moment in time, Cal.